Hello. Hi, Sheila. Nice to feel your presence. Wish I could see you as well. Thank you. Have you been well? We'll just wait another minute till 7:30. I'm very busy, but well. Nice. I'm glad. I wish you were less busy, though. Hey, Kathy. Welcome. I have the air conditioning on, so let me know if it's making too much of a background hum, and I'll turn it off. So I also don't have the lights on. Usually I have like these spotlights kind of things, trying to bring more light, but I was running late tonight, so they're not set up, but it looks like it's bright enough here. So, and it's cooler than having spotlights on me. So welcome, folks, to our True North Insight online offerings right now. My name is Jill Davey, and I'm one of the Dharma teachers with True North Insight. And we're also offering online retreats. I should have looked before I came on, but I think the BIPOC retreat, Black, Indigenous, People of Color, Identified folks retreat with some really excellent teachers. I think it's, is this weekend coming up? I think I did know, but I didn't check again, so I'm sorry for that. But please check that out on the True North Insight website, and all the information is there. Yeah, I'm just going to take a moment to settle in. Hi, Monty. Good to see you. It was so lovely to see some of you folks on the retreat with Joseph and Pascal and Roxanne. It was really a treat. Hi, Terry. Welcome. So I'm just going to take a few breaths here and find my seat. If that's helpful to you, you might like to do the same, taking any sighing breaths you need, or putting down any distractions that aren't helpful to you right now. Just seeing if there's an intention that you'd like to bring to this time of practice and sharing and community. Letting that intention really land into your body and heart. Hey, Patty and Zach, welcome. So, I'm just going to start with this poem that, as usual, the great synchronicity of Rosemary Rutola Tromer's poetic offerings, and whatever it is I need to receive on a given day, it seems to show up. Hey, Natalie. So this poem is called It Takes Almost Everything. I didn't have a chance to put it in the link, but I'll write the title here. It takes almost everything. Sorry, I didn't get to put the link there, Rosemary. Watola Tromer. Okay, so it's a short one. I'm just going to read it the way it feels expressive for me, which is, I haven't heard Rosemary read it, which may be quite different. It takes almost everything. The wind, every day now, the clamorous wind, it lifts my dress and whips my hair. The riotous wind, it steals my words, unwinds my thoughts. The demanding wind, the wilding wind, wind that spreads fire, wind that unbranches the cottonwood trees. The wind unlayers me, invites me to find someplace still in me. The wind, the relentless wind. By Rosemary Watola Tromer. This poem really spoke to me, not because it's physically windy where I'm living right now, but the winds are very disturbed. And the worldly winds, the vicissitudes are they're called in the teachings are called the worldly winds of praise and blame and gain and loss and fame and disrepute, and there's another pairing, praise and blame, pleasure and pain. I think I didn't say that one. Yeah, gain and loss, pleasure and pain. So anyways, you could make any number of pairs, and it seems to me, or my experience today has been very much like this. A lot of, unwinding my thoughts, stealing my words, spreading fire. It's been very much that kind of winds swirling around, and some very, very painful, very painful. And so the practice that saved me today, along with poetry, the practice that helped me find my ground and my seat in my heart again, as she says, these winds of the worldly winds that are happening are stripping away a lot of any veils are stripped away, and we're really seeing each other and the systems of our world. And so this wind stripping away and unlayering me also invites me to find someplace still. Very much because of the turbulence, it's like, whoa, drop everything, get down, get to the ground, find your heart. It's yeah. And the wind, the relentless wind, it doesn't show any signs of abating anytime soon. The fires and winds are going to keep burning for some time. And yeah, so how do we practice being skillful through this? And so the practice that showed up, and I'm so grateful that somehow this body, heart, mind remembered this practice, because it was just what was needed for me, and it's called Take the One Seat. And this is a teaching from Ajahn Chah, who is a Thai forest tradition in the Theravadan Buddhism lineage, and he was a great teacher of many of the teachers that teach in the West, well, and also in the East, of course. But Jack Kornfield has written much and given many talks on hearing this teaching from his teacher, Ajahn Chah. This teaching of Take the One Seat. So I'm just going to read how Ajahn Chah describes this practice according to Jack Kornfield, who has written about it. So reportedly, he said it this way. Just go into the room and put one chair in the center. So you could picture this. I'm going to describe it a bit more in a moment. Take the seat in the center of the room. Open the doors and windows and see who comes to visit. You will witness all kinds of scenes and actors, all kinds of temptation and stories imaginable. Your only job is to stay in your seat. You will see it all arise and pass. And out of this, wisdom and understanding will come. As I see it, he goes on, the mind is like a single point, the center of the universe. And mental states are like visitors who come to stay at this point of the mind in the center of the universe. They come to stay for short or long periods of time. Get to know these visitors well. Become familiar with the vivid pictures they paint, the alluring stories they tell to entice you to follow them. But do not give up your seat. It is the only chair around. If you continue to occupy it unceasingly, greeting each guest as it comes, firmly establishing yourself in awareness, transforming your mind into the one who knows, the one who is awake, the visitors will eventually stop coming back. If you give them real attention, how many times can these visitors return? Speak with them here, and you will know every one of them well. Then your mind will at last be at peace. So good. So good. So just the remembering of take the one seat today was enough to stop, just stop, turn off all the stuff, stop, feel what's here, feel what's visiting, acknowledge, note what's showing up in the heart, body, mind. But don't give up your seat. This is profound. So this image of this opening the doors and windows. So for me, I pictured this like a little house, and it's just one big room, and there's one chair in the center, and there's 5 windows and 1 door. The 5 windows are what's called the sense. They're called sense doors. I don't want to confuse you. Sense windows, we'll call it right now. Okay, so the 5 windows are our senses. This is where we receive the world through our sight, our hearing, smell, touch, taste. Sight, hearing, smell, touch, taste. I did it. So he's saying, throw open the windows and know your world. Awaken to the experience of hearing and seeing, touching, tasting, smelling. Don't shut the windows and try to close out the world. Throw them open. And throw open the door. So there's 5 windows and a door. The door is often used, this image of a house with windows and a door is often used as an image, a metaphor for this being, for this body, heart, mind with its sense doors. And the mind is considered a sense door. The mind is considered one of the ways we know the world, interact with the world, experience this life, is through thoughts and memories, emotions, all the mind states, dreams, images, plans, the whole package. So we stay in the seat and we welcome all the visitors. There's no one that you can shut out. There's no visitor that you can shut out. whether it's grief or pain or anger, all of the torments, all of the joys, we usually want them to come in, right? We'll open the door for that one. Come in, pleasure, come in. But when it's neutral, things we're not really noticing, or painful, we tend to say, no, not this. This is not for me, and then we block people from our lives or whatever it is we do, or we shut ourselves in and try to pull the blanket over our head. And but the image here is the image of our inner experience, and it's not to say, so I'm just going to backtrack that a bit, because it's not to say that you should welcome in abusers into your life. This is not what I'm saying. It is wise to have boundaries, but I'm talking about our emotional and mental experience, that these visitors of all of the heart, body, mind states, we can't, if we try to suppress them and push them away, they just get stronger and come back harder. So we take the one seat and we acknowledge all the guests that are coming. We welcome them, actually. Yeah, welcome them. Because it's like this wind in the poem. That wind unlayers me, strips away, invites me to find the someplace still inside. So not only do we acknowledge, but we welcome whatever is coming. It's not easy. It's really not easy. That would be trite to say, but nothing worthwhile ever is. Yes, I said it. Trite. Okay, it's like this. Picture this house and the one chair, and you're sitting in the chair, but then some visitor comes that you don't want, some painful state, some grief, some fear, some, whatever. We could go on with the list. And you get up to say, start yelling, get out of here. I don't want you in my heart and mind. We've left our seat. We vacated our seat to push something away. And when we do that, they take the seat. So when we fight something, it often takes control of our state of heart and mind. I hope this is making sense. So you want to acknowledge the presence of what, and greet all the things that are coming and going with awareness and compassion, self-compassion. And when they're acknowledged, they mill about the party for a while and then they leave. This is what I experienced today. When I was kind of battling with a lot of painful things that were happening. And when I sat down, found the still place inside, connected to compassion for all those involved, it dissipated. There was no more struggle. There's still some sadness, so I'm going to keep working with it, but yeah, powerful practice. I don't know if I want to go there. I'm just thinking a moment here. There's something else called the lion's roar. That it's told. Well, this is from Jack Kornfield's book, A Path with Heart. So I should write that there because it's really his retelling of something from the suttas, but his retelling is quite lovely. Jack Cornfield, A Path with Heart. Okay, there you go. He says, there are stories about how the Buddha practiced when he was assailed by doubts and temptations. And I find that so heartening that the Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, who became the Buddha, awakened one, was also assailed, attacked by both doubts and temptations. So I'll say more about that in a moment. And so this teaching that's called the Lion's Roar is about his commitment in the face of challenges. It's really lovely. So it's told that on the night of his awakening, after his many years of practicing and life of privilege and a life of extreme austerity, to say the least, and near death, and so then he came to the place where he vowed to sit on his one seat, the one seat, and not get up until he had awakened, until he had found freedom and joy in the midst of all things in the world. So after he'd made this vow and was sitting, then the being called Mara showed up. And Mara, he was then attacked by Mara, with temptation in the mind. Mara is these mind states that make us give up our seat. And so Mara then assailed the Buddha, flinging every force of temptation. So all the delights and beauties and seductions were presented. And that didn't sway the Buddha. And then assailed and flung every difficulty at the Buddha. Great, terrifying beasts and animals and situations, and then huge war scenes, and the whole gamut. Tried everything to no avail. And then Mara challenged the Buddha's right to sit there in that one seat. What gives you the right to think that you can awaken? Ask yourself that question. What gives you the right to think you can awaken? And I hope so dearly that you have this potential, that I have this potential, we have this potential to awaken and free the heart and mind. So in response to that challenge, the Buddha then responded with what is called the Lion's Roar. And he called upon the goddess of the earth to bear witness to his right to sit there. And you often see statues with the Buddha, one hand reaching down, touching the earth, and that's symbolizing this story. Bearing witness to his right to sit there, his right to be free. And so then at this time, all the armies of Mara were washed away. And I mean, that's a very dramatic story, but in our daily life, we can affirm our right to take the one seat, be in the center of our presence, be with our kind intentions and skillfulness, be quiet. And when we do, Mara can be vanquished in that moment, or for moments, or for a time. So, yeah, this happened other times where the Buddha gave this lion's roar of when he was challenged after he was awakened. I hope these are interesting stories to you, but after he was awakened, then he went back to teach people he'd practiced with before. And these people, this group of, were ascetics, very, very austere practices of minimal eating and very, very harsh rules about how to be. And they really, again, challenged him and said, "You eat beautiful food that your followers put in your bowl each morning. You wear a robe in which you cover yourself from the cold, while we eat a few grains of rice a day," thinking they're better for that. And we lie without robes on a bed of nails. "What kind of teacher and yogi are you?" they challenged. "You are soft, weak, and indulgent." The Buddha answered these challenges with the lion's roar. And then he said, "I too have slept on nails. I've stood with my eyes open to the sun in the hot sands of the Ganges. I've eaten so little food that you couldn't fill one fingernail with the amount I ate each day. Whatever ascetic practices under the sun human beings have done, I too have done. And through them all, I've learned that fighting against oneself through such practices is not the way." Fighting against oneself. This is the house with the visitors, is fighting against ourselves. Welcome the visitors and stay in your seat. So through this, then, the Buddha taught the middle path between these two extremes. A way based not on aversion to the world nor attachment, but based on inclusion and compassion. Inclusion and compassion. All beings. All beings. So the middle way, this practice, rests at the center of all things, the one great seat in the center of our experience of the world. We each need to make our lions roar in the world. What is it you know to be true? What is it that your heart stands for? What is it you're willing to stand up for? And to preserve the unshakable courage that is our through line, our right to these teachings is this courage when faced with all manner of doubts and sorrows and fears, to declare our right to awaken, to declare our understanding of what is compassionate action. And as I said, this is not easy, not going to be easy. As Jack Kornfield says, it can take the courage of a lion or a lioness. Is there a gender neutral word for lion? Lionette. Especially when we are asked to sit with the depth of our pain or fear. Hard to do. So this teaching of the one seat, taking the one seat, and you can feel when you've given up your seat, you've gotten up and you're running around in your mind like, oh no, and not this, and out you go, and or clinging onto the delightful guests that come. We've abandoned our seat to just be in the center of it all. And when we do that, we see the impermanence, all coming and going, all unreliable, nothing to be clung to or forced away, but to be acknowledged and felt. Yeah. So of course this teaching really resonates with the well or often cited poem called The Guest House. This translation is from Coleman Barks, and there's some questioning of those translations. I'm sure the original may come out differently, I'm sure. So Jalaluddin Rumi, The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Yeah. So rather than greeting them at the door to welcome them in, stay in your seat and say, "Come on in." Stay in the one seat. Come on in. Help yourself. Because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. All of these states that come up in our hearts and minds and bodies can show us something, teach us something of where we're stuck, where we're caught, where we're resisting. Yeah, all of that. Okay, I think that's enough. Yep. Let's have a sit. Please feel free to lay down if your body needs to lay down. It's helpful to sit if you need more wakefulness, but take time now to just get comfortable. If you feel very sleepy, you might find it helpful to stand up for a bit or move, or take some movements or a big breath or lift your arms up. This is a way to bring a bit of wakefulness at a time of evening that may be a sleepy time for you. And as I have been doing, this is going to be a 30-minute sit, but I'll ring the bell at 15 minutes, just in case somebody's used to just having a 15. No, I'm not going to. That's funny. No, I'm not going to. We're just going to sit till 8:30, and if you need to go, you can go, of course. Oh dear. So rest the body, be upright in intention, be upright in heart, find some uprightness in your energy. And when you find some comfort and wakefulness, then just check in and see if anything needs to relax. If there's any contractions or tensions that aren't necessary right now, that you could just let go. Perhaps a sighing breath helps. And then just begin to feel into your body and feel any areas of tightness. And check some of the usual culprits around the face and neck. Perhaps the heart and shoulders. The belly. And if you like to add an image to this, for some people this naturally arises. It's not necessary at all, but you could picture this house or a space, an open space that has one chair. So this could just be felt in your mind's eye, or you might feel yourself right now sitting in the chair that you're in. Feel that ground. Take the one seat in the center of your being. To begin with, we'll just pay attention to the windows. So the windows of the sense doors. If your eyes are gently open, you might be receiving light or shape or what we call sight through your eye window. Even if your eyes are closed, you might notice there's some light and shape dancing across this window. And then throw open the ear window. And notice the sounds of your world that are coming and going. And there may be in this house window of your nose or mouth, there might be scents coming in through that window or tastes. And then this fifth window of the touch sensations. Just noticing whatever felt, tactile touch sensations are coming in through this experience of the present moment. You might feel coolness or warmth, textures, pressure, contact. Throw open that window and really notice. Stay in the one seat. Now, depending on what you need tonight, you could just stay in the one seat, the center point of awareness, and pay attention to one of these particular, what we're calling a window tonight. You could just rest paying attention to sound, or you could just rest with your eyes gently open, just receiving sights without looking around, without lifting yourself out of that one seat of attention. So really just take a few moments to pay attention to what does your being need. You might need that practice tonight. And the other option is for those that wish to stay in the one seat. Rest in the center of your awareness and throw open the door. And see what visitors come through the mind. And just greet whatever comes. And acknowledge them. Know who it is. So this can be helped with a little bit of noting to just say, oh, sadness, come in. And just stay in your seat and feel sadness arise and pass. A joy, come in. I see you. Welcome. And whatever comes are memories and thoughts and images, emotions, plans. Practice in these next few minutes of silence, just staying in your center, gently noting who's coming, what guests are showing up. Acknowledge them. Just let them move into the background, move around as other guests come, and eventually they will leave. We don't do this in order to make anything leave. but just noticing present moment, coming and going, coming and going. Open house. And when you've given up your seat and followed a thought around the room, just with kindness, gently notice. Come back into this center of your awareness and see what's here now. Who is here now? If restlessness or boredom is showing up, acknowledge, note, invite in, and stay in the seat in the center. As you notice being caught or carried into a mind state, see if you can just note who it is. What guest is this? Is it planning, mind? Maybe you give them a little name tag as they come in. Is it planning? Is it fear? Is it worrying, ruminating over something from past? Is it fantasizing? Once they have their note and they've been greeted, just let them move. Stay in your seat and see what else arises through all the windows and the door. And then just for these last few minutes of practice, an invitation to try another way of practicing staying in the one seat is to begin to very gently open your eyes. Just keep them looking down, eyes open. And as you begin receiving that window of sight, see if it lifts you out of your seat or if you can stay centered and just notice seeing. Open your awareness to include hearing, touch, just rest in the center in the seat as you hear the 3 bells. Thank you for showing up and sharing practice as we all practice taking the one seat, and may this be for the highest good for all beings, the liberation of heart and mind for all beings, including ourselves. And The Guest House is the name of that poem if you aren't familiar with it. Jalaluddin Rumi. And if part of your expression of the lion's roar, your statement of your commitment to what is completely, to completely face what is true in your life, if that includes, resonates with this, I'm just extending the invitation for folks that live in this community of Centre Wellington. This Saturday is a solidarity march for in solidarity with Black Lives Matter, and a peaceful march through the town. It's starting at Victoria Park in Fergus with speakers, and so it's a time for the community to gather together and show solidarity for lives lost to brutality and systematic racism and hatred. Yeah, so that's 12 till 3, and of course all the safety protocols are, of course, still in line of physical distancing at this march and rally, and wearing masks. And if you're symptomatic, of course, you're going to stay home and take care of yourself, please, or be taken care of. Yeah, so you can find, if you're interested and can't find the link to the event, of course, it's on Facebook, Centre Wellington Solidarity March, or you can email me if you want that information. I will also be here teaching Saturday morning before that, 9 till 10. I think it's summer solstice on Saturday, so we'll see. Maybe there'll be something about that in the teaching. I don't know yet. All right. Any questions about that just before we had out? Any about the practice of taking a one seat, or what that means, how that shows up for you? There's a line on here on my side anyways. It says unable to connect to chat, please try again later. So I don't know if it's working at your end. If you have a question, I'll just hang on here for a minute in case anybody does have any comments or questions, or if you found that practice helpful. It was helpful for moi today. Sometimes it takes a moment for chat things to be sent and then to show up, so I'm just hanging on here for a moment just in case. You can also email me or message me on Facebook anytime. Questions, challenges, looking for support with practice, or my website, and I would be happy to connect. All right, looks like everyone's okay. So wishing you peace and safety, and stability in the center of it all.